Đuro Đaković Holding d.d. is a Croatian metal mechanical engineering group based in Slavonski Brod, Croatia. The company is named after Đuro Đaković, a prominent Yugoslav communist of the interwar period. The company's origins date to the establishment of a metal engineering factory in Brod in 1921. It expanded throughout the 20th century, becoming a major regional enterprise of its type, active in rail vehicle manufacture including locomotives, industrial boilers, power plant construction, and large-scale metal structures including bridges. In the 1990s the company was privatized and a number of businesses became separate entities. The remainder were grouped under the Đuro Đaković Holding d.d. group. History. Background. In 1921 the company Prva Jugoslavenská tvornička strojeva I Mostova d.d. Brod na Savi was established, with 125,000 shares of 400 crowns. The factory buildings were constructed by 1922. Croatian industrialist Aleksandar Erman was leading in attracting foreign investment into the firm. In 1923, in 1926 the company constructed its first bridge, and its first railway vehicle, and first steam boiler. In 1928 the company produced its first tram. Development of the company continued in the 1930s with the factory beginning to produce vessels for the chemical industry, cranes, and powered railway vehicles. During the invasion of Yugoslavia of 1941 the factory was heavily damaged. Post-World War II the factory employed 1330 people. After reconstruction of the war-damaged buildings it was renamed Đuro Đaković Industrijski Vozila. Industrijski I energetski postrojeni I selesni konstrukcije Slavonski Brod in 1947, after Brod-born communist politician Đuro Đaković. In the 1950s the company entered into a collaboration with Babcock & Wilcox, and manufactured its first diesel engine. The company also manufactured railway vehicles for domestic use and for export. The company workforce expanded from 2,500 to over 4,500 by 1964. By 1969 the factory had become a major boiler and steel structure manufacturer. During this period the plant began manufacturing GM-EMD locomotives under license. In the 1970s the company's interests were extended to nuclear power plant manufacturing. The company was involved in the construction of the KRSKO nuclear power plant. Other large-scale industrial construction projects included construction of sugar and cement factories, and an association with Belgian boiler manufacturer Wanson was formed. Her company manufacturing industrial-scale expansion joints was established in 1974 in association with Teddington Bellows. During the 1980s the company diversified into production of agricultural machinery, vending machines, seamless cylinders, and began serial production of the M84 tank in 1983. Involvement in construction of railway vehicles, factories, and power plants also continued. By 1986 the company employed over 16,000 people. Đuro Đaković Holding. In 1991 the company Đuro Đaković was formed by shareholding investor founders the Hrvatski Fond za razvoj and the Croatian Railways. In 1993 it became a dioničko društvo. During the 1991-5 Croatian War of Independence the company manufactured weapons for the Croatian army. In the post-war period the company was involved in reconstruction projects, including the reconstruction of several steel river bridges. The research, testing and certification branch of the company was split in 1993, forming Đuro Đaković Centar za Istraživanje I d.d.is. Several companies were divested from the group, including Đuro Đaković Kompenzatori d.d.o. and Đuro Đaković Termoenergetska Postrojenia d.d.o. Đuro Đaković Zavarene Posudje d.d. The steam boiler manufacturing plant became an independent company as Kotlovi.D.O. In 2002, it was renamed Đuro Đaković Kotlovi.D.O. In 2004. The construction subsidiary Đuro Đaković Montaža d.d., separate company since 1996, manufacturer and installer of power, petrochemical and other industrial plants, steel bridges, and oil platforms, became a subsidiary of Bilfinger Berger in the Bilfinger Berger Power Services division in 2009. In 2005, the company was recapitalized by the Croatian state, giving a total capitalization of over 640 million kr. To balance losses accrued, the company's shares were devalued. Group structure and operations. The central operating company is Đuro Đaković Holding d.d., and it has stocks listed at the Zagreb Stock Exchange. The majority stakeholder is the Croatian state. In 2007, 72% of the company shares were in state control. As of 2012, the state's shareholding remained at 72%. As of 2012, the group is composed of 7 companies: Đuro Đaković Specijalna Vozila d.d. Specijalna Vozila manufactures armored vehicles, including the M84D tank and the AMV 8x8, as well as mine-clearing vehicles. The company's other main activity is manufacture of rail freight wagons. As of 2012, the product range includes side tipping, bottom discharge, covered including curtain wall and sliding door, ISO container carrying, and tank wagons for bulk powders. Đuro Đaković Elektromet d.d. Elektromet provides electrical and other engineering services and products for industrial and public utility use. Products and services include electric process control equipment and power supply design and installation, traffic signals and related equipment, crane overhaul, light metal forming and assembly, and powder coating. Since the beginning of the 21st century, the company began to provide civil engineering services for housing, factory, and business construction projects. Đuro Đaković Engineering d.d. Engineering undertakes design and management of large-scale metal structure construction, including structures for power plants, the petrochemical industry, other industrial plants, bridges, and cranes. Đuro Đaković Proizvodnja opreme d.o.o. Proizvodnja opreme manufactures large-scale metal structures for power and industrial plants, including rotary kiln and mill structures for the cement industry and pressure vessels including columns, heat exchangers and reactors. Đuro Đaković Strojna Obrada d.o.o. Strojna Obrada manufactures rail vehicle wheelsets, locomotive frames, mechanical transmission components for locomotives, agricultural machinery, and other industries, oil well equipment, and slewing rings for tanks and windmills. Đuro Đaković Energetika I Infrastruktura d.o.o. Energetika I Infrastruktura is an energy utility provided servicing the industrial complex of Đuro Đaković. It provides compressed air, natural gas, water, waste, telephone, heat and electricity. Slobodna zone of Đuro Đaković Slavonski Brod d.o.o. The Slobodna zone of Đuro Đaković Slavonski Brod is an area of the Đuro Đaković industrial zone in Slavonski Brod assigned to encourage new business developments. The area has reduced customs, tax, and rates. Notable products:
Rolling stock Đuro Đaković manufactured many of the diesel locomotives used by the Yugoslav railways. In the post-World War II period, these included over 150 units of JZ642 and JZ643 BOBO locomotives built in collaboration with Brisono and lots between 1961 and 1977, and the JZ664 Coco locomotives built under license from GMEMD from 1972 onwards. The company also built diesel hydraulic shunters from the late 1960s onwards, as well as license-built passenger rail cars. Other rail vehicles manufactured included the Zagreb tramway types TMK 101 and TMK 201. Military vehicles. The M84 tank was created in the 1980s as a local version of the Russian T-72. During the Croatian War of Independence, the company produced the LOV-1, the first indigenous APC. The M95 Degman is a prototype Croatian main battle tank developed from the M84 based on experimental M91 Vihor. The company also modernizes T-72 tanks, and manufactures rocket launcher and mine-sweeping machines.